The Beyond the Hive update for Warhammer 40,000 Darktide marks one of the most ambitious content drops since the game's rocky launch period. Positioned as a free expansion, the patch doesn't just tweak numbers or add a couple of missions. It fundamentally shifts how the game feels to play. Fatshock has clearly leaned into player feedback about repetition and lack of endgame depth, delivering something closer to a systemic overhaul than a routine update. From the outset, Beyond the Hive signals a tonal shift. You are no longer just cleaning out corridors of Hive Tertium. You are being pushed beyond its relative safety into hostile, unpredictable wastelands. At a high level, the patch introduces a mix of new systems, content, and balance changes that collectively redefine progression and replayability. The headline edition is a brand new mode, but the update also includes new enemies, environmental hazards, items, and mechanical refinements that ripple across the entire experience. What stands out most is how interconnected these additions are. Rather than feeling like isolated features, everything feeds into a broader design goal, making missions less predictable and more player-driven. The result is a version of Darktide that feels more dynamic, more punishing, and ultimately more aligned with the grimdark chaos of the Warhammer 40k universe. The centerpiece of the update is the Expeditions mode, and it's easily the most transformative addition. Unlike traditional missions, which follow relatively linear objectives, Expeditions introduces an extraction-style structure that emphasizes risk versus reward. Players venture outside the Hive into hazardous zones of Atoma Prime, scavenging resources while under constant pressure to extract before conditions become lethal. This fundamentally changes the pacing. Instead of pushing forward with a guaranteed endpoint, players must constantly evaluate whether to press on or cut their losses. That tension, knowing that failure can mean losing everything, injects a level of stakes that the base game often lacked. What makes Expeditions especially compelling is how it leverages environmental threats as a gameplay pillar. Radiation, pollution, and open space combat zones create a stark contrast to the tight corridors of the Hive City. The shift to wider, less predictable arenas forces teams to rethink positioning, crowd control, and resource management. You're no longer just funneling enemies through choke points. You're navigating exposure, visibility, and time pressure simultaneously. It's a design choice that not only diversifies gameplay, but also reinforces the oppressive atmosphere of the setting, where even the environment itself is trying to kill you. Complementing the new mode are the new enemy types, which further escalate the challenge. Among the most notable additions are the Ogryn Packmaster and the Armored Poxhound, both designed to disrupt established combat rhythms. These enemies aren't just tougher, they introduce new behavioral threats that demand immediate attention and coordination. The Packmaster, for instance, adds a layer of control and disruption, while the armored variants force players to adapt their damage strategies. Together, they prevent encounters from becoming routine and push squads to communicate more effectively under pressure. From a gameplay perspective, these new enemies shine most in the context of Expeditions. In the base game, enemy varieties sometimes struggled to meaningfully alter tactics, but here the combination of new threats and open environments creates emergent scenarios that feel genuinely fresh. A roaming patrol encountering your team in the wasteland can spiral into chaos if paired with environmental hazards and limited escape options. This synergy between systems is arguably the update's greatest strength. It doesn't just add content, it recontextualizes everything around it. However, the update isn't without its rough edges. While Expeditions offers a thrilling new loop, it may not appeal to all players, especially those who prefer the structured, mission-based gameplay of classic Darktide. The high-risk, high-reward design can feel punishing, particularly for less coordinated teams. Additionally, while new enemies add variety, their impact may feel uneven depending on difficulty settings and team composition. There's also the broader question of longevity. Whether Expeditions will sustain player interest long-term or require further iteration to avoid becoming repetitive in its own way. Ultimately, Beyond the Hive succeeds because it represents a clear evolution of Darktide's core identity. It embraces unpredictability, amplifies tension, and introduces meaningful player choice in a way the game previously lacked. By combining a bold new mode with environmental storytelling and enemy design that reinforces its themes, the update delivers a more cohesive and engaging experience. For returning players, it's the closest the game has come to realizing its full potential. For newcomers, it offers a richer and more varied entry point into one of the most atmospheric co-op shooters in the Warhammer 40k universe. In conclusion, Beyond the Hive is less a patch and more a statement of intent. It shows that Fat Shark is willing to take risks, experiment with new formats, and push Darktide beyond its initial limitations. While not perfect, it's a substantial step forward, one that redefines how the game is played and experienced. If this update is any indication of the game's future direction, Darktide may finally be evolving into the enduring live service experience it was always meant to be.
We are the Game of Heritage!